Hi, my name is TJ. My dad died of overdose on January 1st, 2011, and my mom is a recovering addict. God helped my mom, and now together we are here to help you. Now let's talk recovery. Here's your host, my mom, Susan Sexton-Wood.
Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Recovery. I am your host, Susan Sexton-Wood. Today, we have two guests. It's Dale and Neil Richmond. We are going to listen to their testimonies and just talk a little bit about recovery. Hi, Dale. Hi, Neil.
Hello.
Neil. It's all right. We like to joke on the show, too.
Yep.
So how are you guys doing?
Doing good.
All right.
Good. All right, Dale, I'm going to start with you and just have you share a little bit about your testimony, and then we'll let your little brother, Neil, share a little bit about his testimony.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you a story about me and Neil.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Look out.
Neil and another guy were in court, and they were being sentenced. I think it was a PI charge. And the judge talked to this guy and says, there's three things in this world that will get you in trouble. You need to avoid them. That's alcohol and the Richmond brothers.
Oh.
Because we had a very bad reputation in Connorsville.
At one time.
But then God works in mysterious ways, because we went from that to doing a church service at the Community Corrections Building in Connorsville. And, we would party together in our active addiction, but once we got clean and got saved, then we started doing God's work. So it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
God's bigger than what we can think, huh?
Yeah, he is.
Well, go ahead and share some of your testimony. I know when you showed me a picture of you when you were in prison, it
Yeah.
just doesn't look like you. You don't look like a troublemaker today.
I didn't look like a troublemaker when I was one.
I would have to. Yeah, you did.
But I was constantly in trouble. My nieces used to tell people, the cops are mean, they keep arresting my Uncle Dale. And that's what they believed. But the very first time I got arrested, I got sent to prison because I wouldn't cooperate with the detective.
Mm-hmm. So what age did you start using?
Around 14 or so. I had an 18-year addiction. So, yeah. Last time I got arrested, I went in to jail as an addict. And then I ended up going out to a church service. So when I left jail, I left as a Christian, and I started going to church. I go to meetings, and October 23rd will be my 25th year in recovery. So
5 years is a long time for recovery.
I couldn't have done it without God.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, that's big. So a couple months away.
Yeah.
So share some of the things that that you did in active addiction, and what led you to finally get help.
Well, did a lot of things. I was one that would leave because I never used around my family, so I was in different states. At one time, due to my addiction, I was homeless in New Orleans, and I lived on the streets for a year and a half in New Orleans. Used to sell a lot of drugs. When I was in town, I used to have a quarter pounder or more under my couch, plus pills and everything like that, because I dealt a lot. And what led me to getting clean was me and my cousin, who died from his overdose. We went to a concert in Dayton, Ohio, and it took me 7 months to get home from the concert.
Wow.
What happened was we stopped in Connorsville and closed the bar, and then I was driving to where we lived and got pulled over, and that's when I got clean, because last time I'd been arrested. And then a friend of mine in jail, he says, you got to go out and hear this crazy guy. he sings and plays guitar and preaches. I said, I don't want anything to do with that. I had been writing a witch in New Hampshire. I was going to go to a Wiccan college because I didn't want anything to do with God. And I went out, but the first time I went out, I just sat in the back of the room and watched people come in and out of the jail. But then I think it was the third time that I went out to the service. I was on my knees and praying before he ever got done preaching. And that's when my life changed. And what was really neat was I got a call. It kind of scared me because they said, this is the Fayette County Sheriff's Department and we need to speak to Dale Richmond. And I was thinking, what have I done wrong? But what had happened, they said that they had heard some good things about me and they wanted me to do a group at the jail. And it was pretty amazing because when I walked in to the jail, I was in the very same room that I got saved in. So, you know, I was an inmate and then I'm coming in there and doing a group and leaving. So it was really cool.
Right. And you went to college, right?
Yes, I did. When I got out of jail the last time, I went to the unemployment office and asked them for help. I said, I'd like to get a job, but I never really worked because burglary and drug dealing doesn't count as
Yeah, you
job
can't put it
experience.
on your resume.
No. And so they enrolled me in a job training thing, and then they referred me to vocational rehabilitation. And I was working with them, and one day I met with them, and they asked me what college I wanted to go to. I had no clue I was even going to go to college because I was praying and asking God, you know, to use me. But so I ended up going to college, and I started out because I knew I couldn't look at something really long term. So I did it 2 years at a time. I got my associates, and then I got my bachelor's, and then I went and got my master's degree in addictions counseling.
Wow. So you're a drug and alcohol counselor?
Yeah,
Good. Good.
with Unchained Prices.
Yeah. Yeah. You were with us for a little bit and you've had some surgery. That
Yeah,
you've
I've had
to
some health
deal
issues.
With, and so, and how's that going?
My surgery went better than I expected because I had rotator cuff surgery, and when I told people that, they told me how painful it was and how much it hurt, and I was kind of scared. But then I had surgery, and they gave me oxycodone, and I didn't want to take it because I'm really protective about my recovery. So I prayed and asked God to help me with my pain, and I have not had any pain at all. It's been completely pain-free.
That's what God can do, isn't
Yeah,
it?
He can. Because he knew that I didn't need to take the pills, so I didn't have to.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, we're going to go over to Neil and ask him to
Oh, me?
share some of your testimony. What led you into addiction and...
Basically just following footsteps.
The older brother.
Yeah. And just one thing after another. I got drinking first, alcohol, then the marijuana, then pills. But then as I got older, I got into what they call Celebrate Recovery. And that's when I started getting clean. And I got that first year. I got all the way up to 5 years clean time. But then I started hanging around this girl, and she would smoke some dope, and she'd keep smoking it and everything. One day after a day, and finally one day I said, "Hand it here. Let me have a hit off of that."
Yeah,
Downhill ever since.
yeah.
There went my 5 years out the window. I started smoking dope with her and taking pills and drinking alcohol all over again. But then I got scared. I said, I'm falling right back in my old ways again. Here I go. I said, I don't want to do that again. I said, I lived it once, almost killed myself. I said, I don't want to do this no more.
Well, there's a saying that if we relapse, we pick up right where we left off and when
Yeah.
we were in active addiction. Do you think that's true?
Yeah.
Pick up right where you left off?
Yeah.
So,
I did.
Well, when I hear you say 5 years and you just threw it down the drain, I always encourage people to look at sobriety and recovery is different.
Yeah.
We can be sober, we can have sobriety time, but if our life isn't changing, then we're not in recovery.
Right.
So even though you messed up, your date may change, but you haven't lost anything because you know, like you said, Celebrate Recovery worked for you.
Yeah.
So the things that worked for you, you can implement that back into your life.
Yeah.
And continue to move forward. A lot of times, and I'm a person that has relapsed in the past.
Yeah.
And I had to realize, why did I relapse? So once I realized why I relapsed, I had to do something about it.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I'll encourage you tonight is, figure out why, which it sounds like you start hanging around with somebody that was
Yeah.
active and use, and you started to do that.
Yeah. Temptation was there, and I grabbed a hold of it.
Yeah.
But now I'm 9 days clean right now,
Good.
and I was taking Suboxone and everything, but I'm 9 days clean off everything.
Good. And the decision you made that is because you didn't want to keep going down that path.
Right. And my first step I took was I went to my mom's. I said, Mom, I need you and Dell to come out here on the front porch. I got to talk to you. And that was my first step. I said, look, I'm back to doing drugs again, smoking my dope, drinking alcohol, doing pills. My mom like fell over.
Yeah.
But I had to tell her.
Yeah.
That was my first step. And then I've been staying there at Mom's ever since, because that way I can't do nothing.
Right. And you have some accountability and someone else to talk to
Yeah. And
about it.
my case manager from Meridian's every day coming by, talking to me, checking on me, and
Good.
everything too. So I got a lot of people caring about me and checking on me and everything. Talking to me and keep me straight, helping me stay straight. They can't keep me straight if I don't want it.
Right.
But I want it, so they're helping me.
Right. Well,
So,
it sounds like you knew exactly where to go,
yeah,
to get back on track. And I think it's a huge deal that you're here today and you're actively speaking that you're 9 days, which is huge. Would you say that your recovery and what you've done the past 5 years actually helped you pick yourself back up?
Yeah, because I reflected back on the 5 years of being clean, and I wanted it,
Right.
Again, because I didn't want to fall back into my old drinking way, doing drugs way, again, because it would have killed me. I'm too old to go back in that kind of stuff again.
Right.
My body can't handle all the drugs and stuff I used to do.
Well, and it's a sad life.
Yeah.
And you got a glimpse of that again, didn't you?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And I didn't like what I seen.
So what kind of things are you doing for your recovery? You spoke about CR. What other kind of things do you do for your recovery?
CR don't exist no more.
Oh, it's not
Not in Connors.
No,
not in Connorsville
not
anymore.
in Connorsville no more.
Well, there is one in Richmond. If you ever think about coming to CR, there's one in Richmond, and it's where the office is on Thursdays.
Okay.
So if CR was a part of your recovery, there still is one. It's just in a different area, which I think your brother might be okay to bring you.
Okay. Yeah, it helped. I've done a lot with CR there in Connorsville.
Well, they're always looking for people to help in Richmond, greeting people or join the team if you've already been there.
Yeah. Just like today, I met one of my old buddies there at Walmart, and he was down having problems. And I said, "Come on, buddy." I said, "I'm gonna pray with you." I prayed right there at Walmart with him.
Hey, that's
I
good.
mean, I don't care where it is or they need help or need praying. I pray with them wherever it is. It don't matter to me. I don't care.
So-
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah. So church is a big part of your recovery also?
Yeah.
And God, of course, the
Yeah,
foundation of it?
yeah,
Good.
yep.
Dale, do you want to share what Celebrate Recovery is? Because I know you were a part of Celebrate Recovery
Yeah.
for a while. So your shake about no not taking him was a joke, really.
Yeah. It's a faith-based recovery program. It's actually based on the Beatitudes in the gospel, and it's a really great program. I actually started the group in Connorsville, and when Neil would come, he wouldn't talk or speak or do anything, and then after a while he gave his testimony and spoke in front of the group, so it was good for Neil too.
Good. So you guys are a big, even though you're brothers and you've used in the past, you're a big part of each other's support right now.
Yeah,
For the most part.
and it feels really good because I can look back at my addiction, and first time that he used was with me. I got him high and drunk, and but now we're still doing things together, but it's Christian things. We're doing things for God now, and we're not, back in our addiction.
Right.
So we've always been really close, but now we're doing it for God and not an active addiction, and
Right.
that's a good feeling. I was talking about the judges earlier. One time I went to court and the judge says, "Mr. Richmond, it would be good if you left the county." I'd already been kicked out of Ripley County, and then he went on to say, "Better yet, why don't you leave the state?" So I did, but then God works in really strange ways, because one day I was at home and my mom yelled at me and says, "Del, there's a judge on the phone." I said, "What?" And I answered the phone, and it was Judge Bush from Connorsville. And she says, "I've seen your name in the paper, and I've heard a lot of good things about you, and I'd like to meet you. Would you have lunch with me?" And I about fell over, because I would never dream about having lunch with the judge. Because I told her, I said, "Well, this is new. I've always been sentenced by judges. I've never had lunch with one."
Yeah.
But God will turn things completely around if you just give him a chance. I like 2 Corinthians 5:17, I think. I don't have a good memory, but it says that when we're in Christ, we're a new creature, and the old things are passed away. And Neil and I are perfect examples of that, because we don't do the things we used to do.
And that's huge for almost everybody in Connorsville to know who you guys were and talk about the Richmond brothers. And
Yeah.
so now when they talk about the Richmond brothers, they are different. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
different. It's a
completely
different
different.
meaning.
Yeah. A lot
were-
of people still know us, but, they don't know what to think about us now.
Yeah.
We were even in jail together. I was in jail, and it was real late in the morning, and I could hear somebody hollering, look at me, I'm here, I'm here."
Yep.
And I got up, and it was Neil. He had gotten arrested, and they put him in the same cell block with me.
Yeah.
So we not only used together, we were in jail together.
Yeah, I got 30 days on that first PI. I never will forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you spent in jail or prison altogether?
I don't know. I haven't really figured it out.
You've been to jail that many times?
Yeah. The last year that I used, I did like 6 or 7 months. I was out 17 days and went back and did another 7 months.
Oh, wow.
So if I stopped and added it all up, I don't know.
Yeah. What about you, Neil?
Uh, Probably a little over 3.5 years, something
It-
like that.
If you guys could think back at the time that you were incarcerated, what would be one thing that you feel like that you got out of being incarcerated? Because sometimes you'll hear jail really helped me, but then other times you hear that it didn't help and it actually made somebody worse.
Well,
The county, you don't learn nothing. I didn't learn anything in the county except I wanted out of there.
Yeah,
There's stone walls and steel bars is all it was to me.
yeah. There wasn't any groups or classes
No.
that you could attend,
No,
and that's one of the biggest things that.
I was in the old jail. I never was in the new jail.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. But once I got to prison, it was a whole different story. I mean, once I got up there, I learned, well, I was on the labor line, so I learned quite a bit, learned how to run chainsaw, all kinds of different stuff, you know.
So they did some training
Yeah,
for you. In
yeah.
that. Good.
Learned respect, just all kinds, stuff like that. Honor, all kinds of stuff like that.
Would you say you started caring about yourself there?
Yeah.
Because in
once
active addiction, we definitely, if we look at it when we're sober, we don't care much for ourselves to
Right.
do the things that we did.
Yep.
What about you?
the last time I was in jail was completely different than any other time because I used to act out in jail, get in fights and cause problems. I flooded our day room once. I stopped at my toilet and kept flushing it and flooded it.
I really couldn't see you being a troublemaker
He was in
today.
he was in a new jail where it's all air conditioned and all this kind of stuff.
But then the last time that I was in jail, I knew that when I got saved that it was different. And I didn't act out, I didn't do anything. What I did, I would stay up all night. I did Bible studies and read my Bible and prayed. And I still do that to this day. And what was really weird was me riding a witch when I go to Wiccan college. And then I met with my Pastor John Reynolds, and the deacons at Calvary Baptist Church in Connorsville. And they were asking me a bunch of questions and stuff. And the result of that meeting was I became a licensed pastor. And I would have never dreamt that.
So you're a licensed pastor and you're a drug and alcohol counselor
And a recovering addict.
and a recovering addict.
Yeah.
So
You were an ordained minister, ain't you?
I don't know.
Well, I thought you,
I have to go look at the certificate.
you married
Yeah.
a couple. So
Yeah, I've done marriages,
yeah, then
So
you probably
priest
have
to
to be-
funeral.
You have to be ordained.
So what are your hopes now? What are some share one goal that you have for the future to use? You're a counselor, you're ordained, and what are some goals that you have?
One of the things that I would really like to do, and I feel led to do, is start a transitional housing for men in Connorsville, because it's really needed in this area.
Yeah, definitely need it. So we'll have to keep that in prayer, and you already have a name for it too, don't you? You still got the name.
Yeah, I stole it from Susan. You are never alone, because truly, we never are alone when we have God in our life.
Yeah, yeah. And you found that, and jail is what led you to be saved.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
And what was ironic, my dad died October 23rd of 1983. I got clean October 23rd of 1993.
10 years later.
Yeah, and that, I don't believe that was an accident.
No.
I believe that was God telling me something.
And nothing is ever an accident. I know I can look back at my life and think coincidence or it was accident, but since I've been saved and have a relationship with God, yeah, nothing. It's just God's timing now. in my
It
thoughts.
is.
So, Neil, what about you? What kind of hopes do you have for your life now?
Getting my own place again, getting it straightened out, and just being able to help people on the streets and in church. I'm more than helping people on the streets
Kind
than
of
I
like
am
praying like you did with the person at Walmart, huh?
like that, and just in general. I mean, helping. Just if they need to go somewhere, just be able to run a taxi for them. Just pick and stuff like I'm doing that right now anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to go somewhere, I'll take them. If they got money, fine. If not, fine. I don't care.
Yeah. And that helps you in your recovery too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
if both of you could say something to someone that may be watching, we just got a couple minutes, so a few words that if someone's watching that may be choosing recovery or just got out of jail, different circumstances, what would you tell them to encourage them also to choose recovery?
It's never too late to change. And once that you accept Christ in your life, then that gives you the strength to stay clean. Because without God, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So
Yeah.
I
God's
think
good.
that's very important, having a relationship with God.
What about you, Neil?
Well, just remember that Bible verse, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Just remember that and hang in there. Everything will get better.
Well, we want to thank Dale and Neil for being on the show. And we want to encourage you, if you are struggling and you need help, that you just reach out to us and contact the Facebook. We ask that you continue and actually start praying not only for the ministry, but for Neil and his journey. He has shared with us that he's 9 days, and recovery and sobriety are different, and we
Yeah.
encourage you to remember that and just apply your recovery to your new sobriety date. I can tell you that I've had to do that myself,
Okay.
and we don't forget what we've learned.
No.
We just have to apply that and some other things, because there's a reason that we relapse. So again, I thank you guys for being on the show. If you're someone that is struggling with addiction, or you're the loved one of someone struggling with addiction, we're here to help you. We're here to help you understand addiction for the loved ones. We're here to help you find your path of recovery, whether it's detox or inpatient facility. We encourage people to do outpatient facilities. Your recovery is yours. And if you build your own personal recovery plan, then it will stick a lot longer than someone trying to hand you their recovery. My recovery cannot be used for Dale, and it can't be used for Neil. And their recovery I can't use. But we can use some of the things that each other use, as Neil talked about Celebrate Recovery. We encourage you to Celebrate Recovery is held in Richmond on Thursday night at 6:30, and we encourage you to go there and check out the Celebrate Recovery. We thank Neil and Dale for being on the show again, and we just want you to have a blessed night. Thanks for joining us.